Bonjour, bonsoir, dear friends, and welcome on JCB Ultra Live today. I'm with my friend Joe Veronese, a very special man. One third-generation San Franciscan. His grandfather was the mayor of the magical town of San Francisco. He is, of course, a very talented lawyer and a commissioner on so many phenomenal enterprises. He has his own firm, of course, as a great lawyer, but at the same time, he's very passionate and giving to the community. So Joe started an incredible organization for firefighters and to really help them and build a lot of things that they need in order to really complement this phenomenal building and their vision and mission to rescue all of us. So Joe, we are in the city of Napa. How exciting!
We are. We're at home for you. We're so excited to be here. This is such a wonderful place. And this department in particular has done an incredible job for the city of Napa. And of course, they're part of the mutual aid program here in California and throughout the country. And they're out there saving lives. So I was San Francisco Fire Commissioner. I was also the Police Commissioner in San Francisco.
Can you believe firefighters and police commissioners?
Yes. And so,
if you didn't know him, you would be in trouble.
And so I put the two of those things together, and when I left the Fire Commission in San Francisco, I decided that I was going to start a foundation to support the men and women that respond to 911 calls, because really there's not a national organization that supports them. For mental health reasons, for other reasons too. And so we'll get into a little bit of the things that we do as a foundation, and the incredible work that we do. We've actually done some work with this particular station. We're so excited to be here today with you.
For sure.
Yes.
On such an iconic place, Napa Valley, city of Napa.
Yes.
But Joe, I love this historical background, but why going so far into building this amazing fund? Tell us why, what made you really do it and lead it in such a great way today.
So early in my years, in my 20s, I was a police officer in San Francisco, and I was doing patrol work, and so I would see some of the things that these men and women see on a daily basis, and there's some awful things that they see. And so when I got to the Fire Commission after the Police Commission, I really saw that there was a gap in funding, and this wasn't an issue. Mental health in particular is not an issue that strong people like to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And this is an institution that attracts strong people, right? That attracts people that want to go to 911 calls. I mean, when you dial 911, it's your worst day, right? And so these are men and women that have chosen a profession to charge into that and to be there for you on those days. And so when I saw that there was a gap in funding for mental health,
Yes.
I decided, well, who's there for them when they're having the problem? When you have a broken leg and you have a crutch, or they have broken legs or crutches, people want to help them, right? You open doors for them, you do these types of things. But post-traumatic stress injuries, and they are injuries, they're things that happen to them. These are not injuries that can be seen. And so there are not people that are out there saying, oh, well, let me help you do this. And so what we did as a foundation was, we started the Stair Climb, which is happening on 9/11. It happens on the weekend of 9/11 every year, and it's in San Francisco at 555 California. It's 1,197 steps up to the top.
And it's this
Saturday, 9/11.
8 a.m.
Yes, 8 a.m., 9/11.
So can everybody come and climb, or?
You can come and climb shoulder to shoulder with some of the gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I think that in this fire station have signed up for it. The police departments, fire, and also dispatch, they're also part of the first responder family. And so you can come climb shoulder to shoulder. And that's an important reason. We raise the money, and that's
Yes.
good, right? And it goes to our peer support programs. It goes to some of the training programs that we do. It also goes to some of the other mental health related things like beds, because beds are critical to getting rest and mental health. In fact, I believe we replaced all the beds in this fire station with our partners at Mattress Firm. When we heard that they needed beds, we went ahead and replaced them.
So that's what the fund is for, is to help not only the station, but even more importantly, the fighters themselves.
That's right. So we have a random acts of kindness campaign where we replace stuff like beds and coffee machines, if that's part of your mental health program. It is.
Sure.
It certainly is part of mine.
Yeah.
We couldn't do wine in this type of service, but
That's the big disappointment.
but
Maybe non-alcoholic wine is the next thing.
maybe. But we also provide peer support services, and so we have programs where they can sign up. and they can basically take courses to learn the tools to deal with these types of injuries. And the idea is to try to get to these injuries early in their careers and give them those coping mechanisms really early, so that we're not getting them at the later stage. But we also have funding for programs like Save a Warrior. These are in-treatment programs that these people go to when they really need the in-treatment help. And so the idea of the foundation is to try to get there earlier, to get them the help that they need, to get them the tools that they need to not only help themselves, but to start to recognize some of the symptoms among their peers. And that's really important as well. You know, suicide is unfortunately a very high rate, 10 times the average rate in the first responders, police and fire, and so it's not talked about.
Yeah.
But we like to talk about it because it erases some of the stigma behind it. And then it also gives these men and women the resources and the knowledge to know that, hey, there's an organization out there that'll pay for these programs. And it's not just these programs. You know, there are other things that come with mental health issues. There's suicides, there's alcoholism, there's divorces, you know, all of these things that you would think, oh, well, someone's had a couple too many drinks. Well, no, they don't necessarily have a drinking problem. Maybe they have some sort of post-traumatic stress injury that they need treatment for. And so these are some of the things that I started talking about as a police and a fire commissioner, but really the barriers, I don't know if you've ever worked in government before, but the barriers in working in government and budgets are high. And so when you are able to raise the private money and just say, oh, we're just going to pay for it, we don't need 20 permissions, we don't need to go through, you know, all these hearings and stuff, we just go and we do it. And that's really why I started this foundation.
Well, but this is very commending, Joe. You didn't have to do it. And dear friends, we're talking a lot about entrepreneurship, sense of innovation, having literally the guts to do it, because it takes a lot of your time, which is not necessarily your line of training.
No.
He's in law. And he elected for others to do this. So how was it to get started?
Well, you know, it just actually happened organically. A firefighter invited me to a stair climb. This was an individual who was having some problems, and he used the stair climb as his way out. And so we went to a stair climb in San Francisco, but it was Fight for Air. It was for the Lung Association, which is an amazing organization. But when we went to the stair climb, I noticed these are all firefighters and first responders here. And why aren't we raising money for their cause? The reason why they're here. And literally within 2 months, we went to the good people at Veronese who own 555 California Street, which is the building where they filmed the Towering Inferno.
That's it. That's it. Inferno.
And it's 52 stories. And within 2 months, we put together the very first climb. Local 798, our fire union in San Francisco, stepped up and let us use their 501c3, as well as an organization in San Diego called Firefighter Aid that they specifically deal with just firefighters. They stepped up with us as well. They do a stair climb down there, so they're kind of a sister organization of ours. And we put it together, and we've been doing it for 5 years now.
That's amazing.
And we've raised several $1 million for this organization, and it goes to the funding of the organization and putting together the structures so that we can put together these courses and do some of the things, build awareness around the issue and around our organization, because that's really important. Our goal, our ultimate goal, our nirvana is to be the American Red Cross for first responders. When there's an incident, we're responding as well. And we're actually starting to realize that goal in some of the things that we're doing. We met with Miami-Dade just weeks before the collapse of that building. And we're working with them on a program. And now what we're seeing is, because of some of the work that we're doing, we're actually having teams go to these major events, not just to be there to pick up the rubble to save people, but to be there for the first responders. And so we're going to see that happen and become more normalized over the years in large part to the work that we're doing around the country. We're working with Seattle, Miami, Boston, New
so it's
York.
not just San Francisco, obviously.
This is a national organization, and we are in the process, not only are we doing the training to train for peer support, but we're capturing those people, and within a few years we'll have go teams. So when there is a shooting as we had in Las Vegas, you remember that shooting?
For sure.
You have the collapse building, you have these large incidents, we'll be able to deploy teams much like CAL FIRE does with fires around the state.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So people, individual can donate as well.
Absolutely.
Companies, of course. Give us a little bit of the magnitude of what people can do.
Here's the thing, is that we have a very unique organization because at some point in your life, you're going to dial 911.
Yes.
Right? I have friends who have had heart attacks and have had their lives saved. Sure.
We will all eventually.
Eventually, if not for ourselves, for a family
Yeah.
member, right? And so I remember being at the hospital and he came out of his coma and he said to me, who is it that helped me?
Yeah.
And I was already a part of this organization. I thought to myself, these are people who's had their lives saved.
Yeah.
Dramatic impact by total strangers, and they have no idea who they are. And so wouldn't it be something to be able to connect them?
For sure.
But also our organization gives them an avenue to donate. And we've done that with departments. We've donated things to the Belvedere Police Departments from residents that were happy with them, that wanted to support them in a time, that they needed some help. And so we're really an outlet for individuals, all of us, everybody, but also for organizations and corporations like yourself,
yes.
who have been highly affected by the fires up here in Napa year over year now.
Yes.
And so we want to be that organization where you see signs on the side of the road, thank you, first responder, thank you. Well, we are not only just the thank you to the first responders, but we are the ability to actually reach in there and not only say thank you, but do thank you. And that's what our organization is, the National First Responders Fund.
I love it. Do thank yous.
Yes.
And that's the key. So
And
you have some very unique things
so I'm going to
here.
present you with a couple things.
Ooh.
First of all, I can't.
So
I
that
can't
is my
come-
first helmet, obviously.
I can't come without gifts, right? So first of all, we have the National First Responders Fund hat, right? There you go.
It's my new hat.
And so this week is a very special week because it's the 20th anniversary of 9/11, right? And I've met people over the last
And we tend to
couple
forget
weeks.
20
years
anniversary.
There are firefighters today that weren't even born when that happened. New firefighters. And so last week I visited 9/11. I visited New York and the 9/11 Memorial, and I got for you a very special gift.
Thank you so much.
Another gift. We're gonna
God,
have you
I'm gonna be
is-
wearing multiple hats. Not that we don't, but now it's a fact.
So this is the New York Police Department hat from the 9/11 Memorial Museum, and you'll see
Thank
on the
you so
hat there's
much.
a number, and that number is 23. And that number signifies the number of police officers that charged into the Twin Towers and lost their lives.
Oh,
Yeah.
23 too many.
23, and that's just New York Police Department. That's not Port Authority. I believe there's about 403 first responders that lost their lives that day. 403 first responders. The second hat is of course, the famed New York Fire Department,
Wow.
FDNY, and the number on there. I mean, take a look at that number.
343
firefighters. And you'll see a lot of footage on TV over the next couple days of those firefighters that charged into those buildings. Literally hundreds of them charged into those buildings to save lives. Some of them even after the first building had already started coming down. So extraordinary individuals. Every person behind that number is a family member, is a father or a sister or a brother or a mother of somebody who is out there today that is affected by the tragic events that happened 20 years ago. So in memory of those, this is
that's a
another
tragedy, but
wonderful
I'm
hat.
honored to show it to all of you as well. Look at that.
And then of course this is the 9/11 this is the 9/11 flag. This is a very special flag that was made in remembrance of that day, and it's flown over the 9/11 memorial. And then this is another special flag here. This is a U.S. flag that has flown over the 9/11 memorial, and it is a very special flag. We're actually going to use this flag. We have on Saturday morning, we have a young girl. She is the daughter of Art Howard, who runs our peer support program for the San Francisco Police Department. She does a wonderful job. And she is going to sing us the national anthem.
Ooh!
To kick off the event.
At 8 a.m.
It's at 8:30. The ceremony starts at 8:30, and so she's going to sing us the national anthem. We're going to drape her in this, and it's going to be an amazing event. We've got the mayors, we've got some senators, we've got We've got some wonderful people coming to support us. Of course, the first responders will be there. The fire chief will be there. The police chief is there. And actually, you know, the Mayor Breed, she did the climb last year.
Fantastic.
Yes, she did. And,
in heels or?
I don't know. No, she did them in tennis shoes. But the fire chief does the climb every year as well.
That's exciting.
And
how long does it take to do the?
Well, it all depends, right? It all
Your
depends
health
on how,
status?
it depends on your health status. I think, you know, we had the fastest climb, I think, was 9 minutes.
Yeah.
It took me about 15 minutes, but I do it in full gear. Last year I did it with the mask and tank on as well.
Good for you.
So it took me
Because
about
did you need a
15
mask to breathe with the
Yes.
altitude of going up?
Yes.
On the 53 floors, or?
Well, it's an additional 40 pounds. I mean, it's a lot more weight on you. But the average person probably takes about 15 to 20 minutes to do it.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and it's obviously for a great cause. And as I mentioned before, the most important part of it is to give the public an ability, some interaction to climb shoulder to shoulder in a non-emergency type of fun event with police and firefighters.
And dear friends, I'm really waving my hat to commend Joe for creating this organization, as we've just been talking about, because it's one thing in life to do what we do. It's one thing to do what we do for our businesses, for our families, for
Yes.
our own little circle of life, but it's another to take it to heart as you have and to expand into the world, to serve others, to do it locally in Northern Cal as you started, and now in the nation.
That's right.
And I really think we never recognize enough, as we often say, all the people in our communities who do so much for others. And as you said, whether we call 911 or we don't, many people do. So we should really always be rewarding the people that respond to it.
That's
because
right.
this is a tough job.
That's right. You know, I've done a lot of things in life, but I have to tell you selfishly, this foundation is the most rewarding thing I've ever done.
And where would you like it to go? You said nationwide, but give us, before we go on a little bit of a tour,
Yes.
tell us, where do you think it can go?
Well, unfortunately, the way this world works is that money makes the world go round.
Yes.
And so we like to respond to the needs of first responders, both in the peer support. We want to be that agency that not only creates the trained individuals that can be there for you, but I want all of these firefighters here to have at least one or two people in this station that they can turn to at any moment in their downtime.
Yes.
And so that's the purpose of our organization, is to put that training out there so that when one of them's having a hard day, they can say, hey, come over here, I want to talk to you about something. And that is a huge first step, because it's not what's happened historically in this very macho industry.
Well,
so it's
and you know,
important.
when you think about it, in even another less macho environment, it's not easy.
That's
so
correct.
imagine in this one. So opening to others, allowing ourselves to be all vulnerable,
right.
allowing anyone to help when we feel we need it is an amazing step forward. So you're providing it. I'm so excited for us to humbly help as much as we can, and certainly more.
Yes.
And doing more things in relationship to wine too, to be able to be part of them.
That's exactly right. And if you want to get involved, you can go to our website at NFRF, National First Responders Fund, nfrf.org. Plenty of opportunities to get involved, also to donate. We have events. We have this event, obviously, and we'll be having future events as well. And we have an ability for you to actually reach out into your local fire station. And I actually encourage you, go down to your local fire station, knock on the door, get to know these people, find out what they need, and you can come onto our platform and raise money for that. So we have a fund to need ability to raise 501c3 money for the fire station, and you can start that campaign
In
with
your
you and
department,
friends.
in your area of town, wherever in the district of California, or wherever you are.
Wherever you are. If you want to raise money for that fire station, come to our website. You can do it directly on our website, find out what their need is, raise the money, and the money will go directly to that need. It's an amazing program that we've built.
Love it.
Anywhere in the country you can do that. And so we've had people send pizza. Extreme Pizza is a partner, a monthly partner of ours. We've had people send pizzas into the local fire station.
Well, keep in mind though, we want to keep them slim and agile, so we got to be careful of the flour you use when you send it.
Well, they're with all that heavy equipment, they're not having a problem staying slim. If you can look
Hey,
around
I can
here.
tell you.
I'm already sweating in
Oh!
here, aren't you?
Well, we're going to take you on a little ride, dear friends.
It's a great pleasure for me to be here today and to recognize the foundation for everything that they do for first responders, the peer support programs, and also the donations. Napa Fire Department has been a benefactor of these donations, and we made this flag as a recognition to your foundation and the work that you're doing with your team. It's an American flag made out of fire hose, and we hope that you can take this and display this proudly in your organization and feel the gratitude of the first responders that you daily are helping. Thank you.
Chief, this is really an incredible gift. From the bottom of my heart, I am so thankful. My team for putting together, all the work that they do and for helping you guys out and starting the relationship with you. And that's really what this is all about. It's about having a relationship, being able to be there for you. And I'm pretty sure my kid's going to want to steal this away from my team, so you guys are going to have to fight for this one. But thank you so much. We'll put this up at the office. It's a wonderful, wonderful gift, and some tools of the trade in as a part of this gift. And it's so incredible and amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, dear friends, I'm in training. Can you see where I'm going to go? This is a very pretentious moment where the goal is to go. At least we're going to keep looking. I'm not sure we're going to get all the way up there. But the key today, dear friends, is to learn. So are you ready to go with me? We did it, dear friends! 104 feet with our fabulous friends from station number 1 here in Napa. I gotta tell you, it's one thing to do it in Louboutin shoes and JCB socks. It's another with 40 pounds, 50 pounds, 80 pounds of equipment in a sense of emergency when your heart beats very high and you got to save someone. So I think a big shout, congratulations to all of you for what you do, and it's really commending and amazing from the training, from all the diverse knowledge you need to have to do what they do. It's phenomenal and impressive. So remember, you all can donate and provide support to our community thanks to our firefighters. Never forget about them. I have the pleasure, the honor to wear one of the most important suits. It's not Dolce & Gabbana, it's not Alexander McQueen, it's not Tom Ford. Today, it's the firefighters. I'm downtown Napa with the captain and Matt Colburn, paramedic, forgive me. You see, I get intimidated on those big titles. And this is very exciting because we are in the heart of Napa. So, Captain, tell us about your entire department and all those beautiful things that you have behind us. Because this is the dream. As a Frenchman, one of the most iconic, elements of what America has is the sheriff and the fire department. There's nothing like any of those two around the globe. So we've talked a lot about the sheriff, and with the sheriff, now with the fire department, one of the most important department of all time.
Yeah.
Specifically right now, Captain.
Yes. Far more superior than the cops.
Absolutely.
So this is truck 1. She has a 105-foot aerial up top, and she has a wide variety of extrication, high and low angle rescue, water rescue. It's essentially the toolbox of the fire service. So anything significant, this is going to be called out to it, just based upon all the tools that we carry on this apparatus.
I love how you call her she.
She, yes.
Every beautiful thing in French is always a she, so I'm delighted that you carry that on.
She's temperamental, so I refer to her as she.
So what do we have behind this?
Well, we have a variety of rope rescue gear here. So anything off a cliff, off of embankment, off of a building, if someone was doing window cleaning, we have the ability to lower a rescuer down to render aid and then remove the victim from that environment as well. So all of our rope rescue equipment is here. You see over here we have our pump panel. So this particular truck has 300 gallons of water, plus the capability of flowing 1,500 gallons a minute. So our pump panel is here, and then we have some variety of different hoses as well, so we can put out structure fires, vehicle fires, vegetation fires. This is not its primary purpose.
Yeah.
Its primary purpose is to get up on the roof and to cut a ventilation hole.
I see.
In order to do that, we have to get up on the roof either with the aerial or with ground ladders, cut a hole in the roof and get all those superheated gases and out of the environment so our crews can get in there and find the victim easier. So this is our primary purpose, but we do have water to extinguish fires as well.
God, I love all this.
Yeah.
This is, what a toolbox. This
Yeah.
is a dream.
It's a toolbox. You'll see a lot more
Maybe
too.
maybe in the vineyards we should really restructure our equipment to look like a firefighter. It'd be easier to water the vineyards this way.
That's quite possible, yeah. Yeah. So we have a toolbox here for a variety of different tools that we need that we may come across. This compartment is composed primarily of our medical equipment. So about 60-70% of our calls are medical aids. So we have all the ALS equipment to render aid, whether it be through drugs or through the monitor or heart, airway, our Lucas device that does compressions for CPR.
Yes.
All that is here available for us to use.
Fantastic. So well organized, isn't it? This is a lesson
Yes.
of discipline and meticulousness. Huh?
Yes. Over here we have some of our salvage and overhaul. So when we have a structure fire, we want to maintain the integrity of that person's house, their belongings.
Yeah.
And so we may cover up their TV or their furniture with the salvage covers so we don't cause any additional damage because we have water and such, and we don't we want to limit how much we cause as far as damage. And so
And
may
we
cover
know
that.
those firefighters very, very charming, but they think of everything. Can you imagine? Not only to rescue us, but at the same time to protect the environment
Yes.
of our homes.
Yes.
Pretty amazing.
This is my favorite compartment. This has the chainsaws and a circular saw. So I was discussing with you going up to the roof and cutting a hole. That's done by our chainsaws here. So we'll get on the roof and we'll cut a 4x4 hole, that's to start with, and that will get rid of some of the smoke and hot gases out of there. So the chainsaw is used for that, and then our circular saw here as well.
And a great brand, Steel. Actually, a great friend of mine, Michael Traub, is now running the show at Steel in Germany. So are those the best ever? Wow. Good to know. We got to get them to paint them in red, though, so it would be maybe matching more the fire truck.
I like orange stamp.
Okay.
I can take it along with the back here.
How cool. We are in the station. Ooh la la.
So remember I talked to you about ground ladders? So
Yeah.
this has 105 feet, but some of the buildings we can't get to with this, and so we have to utilize ground ladders. So we have a 35 foot, 28 foot, a 16, and then we have a variety of different hand tools that we can use as well. So all that's kind of back here for our disposal.
It's so well organized. I mean, it's obvious that it needs to be well organized,
Yeah.
but when you see it that way, God, you can act fast.
Yes, absolutely. So that's our primary goal, is to get back here, get this ladder to the roof as soon as possible.
For sure.
2 guys up to the roof, cut in a hole, and then get it
Yeah.
off the roof as soon as we can.
Amazing.
All right, so this compartment is composed of absorball. So when we deal with vehicle accidents, we deal with hazardous materials that come out of the cars. And so we want to make sure we don't get that in our waterways. So that we put down absorball to make sure that the transmission fluid, the oil, the coolant, all that is absorbed. So basically, we just want to make sure our absorbent's back here ready to go for vehicle accidents. And then remember when I was talking to you about getting all those hot gases and smoke out
Absolutely.
of the structure? So we have a vent that's utilized, a fan that's utilized to pressurize that building to get all those smoke and gases out of there as well. Part of our function as a fire department is when we send 2 guys into an IDLH environment that could essentially cause them death, we have a team that's referred to as a RIC team that's designed to only go after those guys if something happens.
I see.
And so this tool right here is used to give those guys or gals air if something was to happen inside that structure. And
So everybody is phenomenally trained in that
yes.
department as well.
But we got to make sure we take care of our own. So within
sure.
that, we have a dedicated RIC team that's only designed to take care of our own people. And this tool right here is one of the tools that they would take inside to get
I see.
this person out. So when we deal with a structure fire, we have to make sure that there's no power to that house because we don't want to get shocked, obviously. So we have our own power source that we bring inside when we deal with lights for fires at night and such. So all of our electrical equipment and lockout, tagout equipment's in here.
And you hook it to the truck?
Yeah, the truck
Here we
has a
go.
generator, so
Yeah.
we'll hook it up to the generator and then we'll bring in our own portable lighting as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You're very prepared.
So
Are you prepared for candle night for two, side by side as well? Almost, right?
Almost. Almost. So a variety of different hand tools. This is my favorite. This is my tool right here. It's called a Halligan. It was designed by a New York City fireman back in the early 1900s. This right here basically forces open doors and can be used for a prying tool. So this is called the Halogen.
But it makes me think of those historical medieval tools.
Yes, it's very medieval.
But very, very, very convenient it seems. So how do you like it open the door through the...
Yeah, so when I can either what's referred to as a baseball swing and get into the door jam and then pry it open, or in commercials we deal with interior, exterior doors, and so we can force those as well.
There's so much to think about. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
You guys have thought about every single situation possible.
We tried. So behind here though, it's kind of cool. We have airbags. So when
Look
we deal
at this. Look at this, baby.
heavy equipment and or cars that are trapped on people, we can utilize our airbags to then raise the vehicle off of that individual. So this one, for example, can lift 41.5 tons.
Huh. So a big truck.
Yeah, big truck.
And so when it's an airbag, so you fill it with air and it helps to move it up?
Yeah, exactly.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
And where do you blow the air from?
Well, we have a cylinder that we use, the same that we use on our SCBA. We'll attach one of those cylinders to a regulator, which is in here.
Yeah.
And then we have a hose that connects to that, and then we can control the raising of the airbag.
Very nice. Yeah. Wow, so prepared. I mean, we never think, frankly, about the truck to be 360 like this with all those very specific items that you have. I mean, you really have thought of everything from organization to left to right. Yeah.
Well, the streets are unforgiving, and at any moment we can get any type of emergency that you have to be prepared for. And you get surprised every day, and you learn from it, and you adapt, and that's why we have a variety of different tools on here, whatever could come across.
And every firefighter truck in the United States is equipped the same way?
No, not necessarily. We're all a little bit different, but for the most part, truck companies, which we're talking about here, are all kind of designed the same.
I see. Great.
So all of our extrication equipment, so when we're dealing with vehicle extrication and trying to get victims out of cars, we utilize these to pry open the doors, cut off the roofs, do whatever we have to do to extricate that victim. So all of our extrication equipment is located here.
It's maybe better than the chainsaw in the car. And that's a...
JC, if you wanted to hold it, go.
Wow. Woo! Luckily I do sports. Hey, you're going to be strong on this one. Wow, what's the weight of this?
That one's, I don't know the weight, but that's the jaws of life. So
the jaws of life. I could see that. Look at that. Pretty sexy, isn't it?
So we have a variety of different tools for our extrication equipment that we would use to get the victims out. So all of that's available for us here.
Yeah, because it's one thing to stop the fire, but obviously, number one is to save the person.
Right.
Get access to that person.
Yep.
So having all the tools possible to get there.
Yeah.
Let them breathe or save their lives, and then extinguish whatever fire catastrophe.
We're dealing with vehicle accidents, structure fires, medical aids, high and low angle rescue, hazardous materials spill, a wide variety of different calls that we have to
People call you for virtually everything.
Everything.
No psychological fights between husband and wife
No,
too
not
much?
at all.
Because I understand the firefighters are the psychologists of the world too.
Yes.
They know how to talk to couples.
Yes, we do that as well. A variety of different extinguishers that we carry on here as well. And then a hose that we talked about before. And
Those are pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, just to pull this requires a lot of energy and strength as well, right?
Yeah, and they're 200 feet long.
Yeah.
So once you get it out, you have to make sure that it's laid out correctly or you're going to have some problems.
Like a parachute.
Yep, exactly.
Wow. Look at this. Woo!
So when we're dealing with vehicles on its side, it's imperative that that vehicle stabilize so we don't get our own people hurt. So some of this will be utilized to stabilize vehicles, and we can utilize this to stabilize houses as well. So all of this is set up so if we
So
have
you
to,
build it and you...
Yeah, exactly.
You reset a structure, in other words.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. I've never imagine there was so much in a firefighter truck.
Yeah. So,
That's it?
well, we have some more hands.
What about this lovely big, you know?
So right there is a piston inlet. So when we have to establish our own water supply
Yeah.
from fire hydrant, this is what we'll connect to.
I see. So, and you have behind that 300 gallons, you
Yep,
said?
and this particular rig is 300 gallons. That's
Is
right.
it one of the biggest you have?
No, our fire engines carry 500 gallons because their primary purpose is to go inside and fight the fire. Our primary purpose is get up on the roof and cut the hole.
Yeah.
So, but we do have water on here in case we do have to fight fire.
I cannot wait to get on the roof. We're gonna cut a hole today,
Yes,
maybe.
you are. So a variety of different answers. What's most important is before you continue and start to climb the tower, you got to be signed off on the bell.
Yes.
All right.
So how does that work?
So why don't you jump inside?
I'm jumping. I have my gloves. I'm ready.
So go ahead and grab your rope.
We're almost in Notre Dame here. Look at that.
So we're here at Fire Station 1 in Napa, Napa City, and we've got the captain here. Captain, how long does it take? We're sitting in truck number 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long does it take you guys to get from your beds or from the station into this truck?
We need to be en route to our emergency in less than a minute. And that's with all of our PPE on, ready to go within a minute. That's our goal, whether it's the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, and so you're rushing into this truck, you're on your way to a call. What type of calls do you get? Just give us a quick.
Well, we run a variety of different calls, whether it be structural fire, vehicle accidents, hazardous materials, high and low angle rescue, confined space. As we talked earlier, this is essentially the toolbox for the fire department. So it could be anything at any given time, and so we have to be prepared for that. A lot of things that we go through our mind is the exact location of the incident, where's our water supply out, what's the best route of travel. There's a variety of different things that we have to talk about as a crew before we even get to the emergency.
What's interesting about what he just said is most people would be thinking, oh my God, I am going to go into this horrific scene. I am going to go into this emergency situation with these gentlemen, these ladies and gentlemen of this department and all departments are really trained to think, what do I need to do? What are the steps I need to do? What do I need to get into? I need to get to that scene. At the other end of this phone line or this call, there's a life to be saved. And so they're systematically thinking. They're trained that way. And thank God for them, because most people would be in a panic situation. Their blood pressures would be shooting up. Their adrenaline would be out of this world, and to an extent that their bodies, in some cases, would be uncontrollable. That doesn't happen to them because they're well trained. And thank God for them. Thank God for you guys.
And that's impressive. So calm, so composed, so together. And you said less than a minute. I mean, that's very impressive at any given place within your area.
Yeah.
Well, what about if we go? Let's go for it. We are going on a mission, dear friends. Joe Veronese and I are going on a mission. We know how to climb a ladder, so we may be of some use. Look at that. We in the truck. Woo-hoo! Hey, doesn't it feel great?
This is wonderful. We just need a glass of wine.
That's it. Cabernet is missing. So this is so cool. We actually in the fire truck of Napa Valley. So Joe, how do you feel about this amazing contribution that we're doing?
You know, it really is extraordinary. The foundation that I've begun is the most rewarding thing I've ever done, and I'm actually have given you, the public, the adoring public of first responders everywhere, the ability to go onto our platform at nfrf.org and find out what your local fire station needs, whether they need new plates. Typically we do things that are mental health related, beds, for example, coffee machines, whatever it is. You can start a campaign and raise money and go gift it to them. And we do that for you. So it's the ability to give back. It's the ability to do something that really is significant, maybe insignificant, but is significant in the lives of those first responders, because that having that touch point with the public is really important in a non-emergency circumstance. And so as we drive through the great city of Napa and truck number 1 with Jean-Charles and
Dylan is with us.
Dylan,
This amazing captain who, in normal circumstances, drive a little faster than this, right?
That's right, and I think even in some circumstances they even throw the lights and sirens on. But I think we have a police officer in front of us.
Hey, why don't we pull the police officer over for once? He went too fast on that light.
Not sure now.
Hey, who is in charge a little more, the police or the firefighters?
You know, it really is a partnership, and the people that shouldn't be forgotten are the dispatchers, the ones that are quite literally on the other end of the line. They pick up the call first, and they set into motion a team of people that has been established, extraordinary people who have chosen service as their profession, and in many circumstances have chosen to give their lives, as we saw the 403 first responders who gave their life 20 years ago this Saturday at 9/11. So it's really is an extraordinary profession. They are here for you no matter what. A lot of them, some of them, have some pains and some issues that they're dealing with. Almost a third of all first responders have some sort of PTSI. But rest assured, no matter what, you dial 911. The ladies and gentlemen on the other end of that line are going to be there for you, and they're going to be 100% when they get there, because that's all they really know.
So, Joe, what continues to inspire you?
Really, it's hearing from the first responders that go to some of our programs that say, hey, I learned something at that program that I was able to help another first responder, help him get out of, into sobriety, or help him with some of his marital issues, or help him, talk him down from suicide, that type of stuff. The impact that this organization is having on individuals throughout the country is extraordinary. And every dollar that we raise is critical to that. It's critical to putting on courses. We get calls from, we're doing courses in Boston. We're doing the entire Seattle Police Department, which has been devastated over the last 2 years. They've lost almost half of their membership. And so it's being there for those men and women that are doing extraordinary work every day that is really the most rewarding thing. And like I said, you can do it as well by signing on to our website and donating.
And so what's, on a more personal basis, what is Joe Veronese's passion?
Well, I get to ride around in fire trucks with amazing people like you. and that's wonderful.
Because you know what I'd love to say is passion, and Joe is his community and the world of politics. So I'm suggesting for Joe, he should be the mayor of San Francisco or the next governor of California. Would it be nice?
Well, it would be nice. Frankly, it's a dream of mine to follow in the footsteps of my grandfather, who was mayor of San Francisco, my mother, who was on the board, president of the board of supervisors, my cousin, who was at the board of supervisors as well. My entire life has been civil service in a charitable type of way, with my work on the commissions, and I would like to do something to change San Francisco. We're in a really rough spot in San Francisco.
You know, you have my vote. You know that I'm a resident of San Francisco.
That's wonderful. Well, there we go. I think that's the best start that I could ever have is to have your vote. But we do need some help in San Francisco. Geographically, I think you would agree. You've traveled the world.
For sure.
Geographically, San Francisco is one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Yeah.
It just needs a little help.
Yes.
It needs the right type of leadership and the right type of places. And my family's been there for this city, but I think it's time to, I don't know, maybe is it time to do something?
I think it's very much the time, and we will collect all the votes you need. As long as you present yourself to the ballot, we'll vote for you.
Well, the people of San Francisco deserve a better city, and so we'll see what we can do to make that come happen. Sure.
And what's your other passions besides your community?
Oh, my family, my culture, like you and your culture. This has been a passion of mine. You know, I'm a civil rights attorney, so being able to change people's lives in that way is very important to me. My 12-year-old son, who you've met before,
Augustus.
you know what it's like to have little kids, and it's just, they fill your heart. And so it's really about my family, my culture, my Italian culture, which I'm so very proud of. I spent a great amount of time in Italy, as much time as I can. And then, giving back in San Francisco is a part of who I am. It's a part of my history. It's a part of really who I am, and being a part of San Francisco and making it better for me, it's a passion that is yet to be fulfilled.
So well said. And now we're arriving at the station. So now, Joe, your big message to everyone out there. We have friends all over Asia, Africa, Europe, Eastern Europe, South America, you name it. What's your message to everyone after the last 18 months we've lived and the message forward?
I would just say find a way to give back that's meaningful, and it doesn't have to be big. You can make the smallest difference. You could start your own foundation if you want to do something really big, but just find a way to give back, find a way to help somebody. You really don't know how people are struggling. And so reach out and reach in and try to help people.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank this amazing man, Joe Veronese himself.
Can we cap this off with a little bit of siren? Sure. Let's do this.
Here we go. Here we go. We're going to have the siren. And thank you, Joe, for everything that you do for all of us and within and without.
I feel like I should be singing you happy birthday to this music. It's a very special week for you as well. So happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Joe.
you for having me, and thank you for Napa City.
Thank you so much. Here we go. Our captain is going to play the siren.